Alright, and we're back. So, actor Henry Cavill opens up about the possibility of maybe returning as Superman or maybe joining the MCU. So, let's get into it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
Alright, so, like I said, interesting stuff. Now, this is a story that immediately, when I first read it, I was like, you know what, this actually seems like not a big deal. But then the more I started thinking about it, it's more like, there could be a lot of, let's say, implications here. Stuff that affects both major universes in many ways. So I'm talking about the DCU and the MCU. So why not explore it a little bit? You know, it's funny, certain things get posted just to get a little bit of traction, because it's a headline grabber, but also some of them are intentionally placed there in the media because their studios ask them specifically to ask a specific question, and so they let loose in that particular area. So, I mean, if this is one of those situations, I think it's an interesting thing to explore because, again, of the implications. So, before we get into it, let me give you a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. That's the easiest way for you to contact me. Just join up, be a part of the chat. It's the easiest way for you to get a question to me or just, hang out, say stupid things. I like doing it. I do it every day. If you want to send me something privately, you can always do that on Instagram at Super Dario World or at Dario SDW. If not, you can just like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But let's get into this because I think it's a fun little tidbit. So we are talking about actor Henry Cavill. And damn it, I forgot to switch this out. Always forget to switch this out. This is the issue with having the guests on the podcast. Afterwards, I become lazy and complacent, and that's never a good thing. It's never a good thing. Let me see if I fixed it already. Nope, still not fixed. Bigger. All right, I think we're good to go. Should be, at least. Here we go. So, actor Henry Cavill, who is currently playing Geralt of Rivia in The Witcher, who, by the way, The Witcher 2 should be coming out pretty soon, and also known for playing his role of Superman, has been asked a lot in recent years of whether or not he will be playing Superman. And again, it made news now, which was really weird, but for those of you who don't know much about Henry Cavill is widely considered to be kind of like the king of the nerds, or the king of the geeks, depending on who you want to ask or how you want to look at it. Because mainly, the dude is a massive geek. He plays World of Warcraft, he plays a lot of video games, and he is really extremely devoted to his craft. Also because not only is he a massive geek, but also he is built like a freaking brick. Like, the dude's totally yoked. He got yoked even before he got yoked for Superman, but he was already ripped before that. So it's like, he's like the living embodiment of, you can be a geek, but you could also be like an athlete, and also you could be good looking. And so everybody's like, well, that's the king of the geeks. And everybody's like, at the same time, I hate you, but whatever. The dude's really good at what he does. The thing is, put all that stuff aside, the dude's really good at what he does. And he takes his roles very seriously. He takes his art very seriously. And I remember that I've seen a bunch of interviews of the guy, and I was there when they did the Comic-Con presentation for The Witcher, and that's when my opinion greatly changed. Before, I knew him a little bit, but that's when my opinion greatly changed of the guy, and that's when he was breaking down how he prepared for the role of Geralt. Now, I knew that he played the video game and he would take it seriously and all that stuff, but when he talked about what he did with the sword training, so for him, the most important part of the role that he knew that he would have the biggest issue with would probably be the sword fighting. So he just bought a bunch of swords, had some at his house, had some in his gym, had some in his office, and he would just practice whenever he had the chance. And that translates on screen because he didn't want to have a stunt double, because he believes that, when you're also acting when you're doing stunts, and he wanted to tell a story while he was fighting. And you see that in the very first episode of The Witcher, the fight with Renfrey. He's telling a story. At first, he's like, I don't want to hurt you, but then it's the moment he decides to take the fight seriously. Gus Viscera, I would love to see him play a villain. Seeing him in a dark role like The Witcher suits him better than colorful hero roles. I agree, but we'll get into that in a minute when we get into the MCU stuff. So the point is, dude takes his role seriously, and he's done, honestly, a pretty good job throughout his career. I think the first time I saw him was The Count of Monte Cristo. It's he gets the famous line. No. It's the dad who gets the line. He gets the "do your worst." That's the line that he gets. Do your worst, and then the Count of Monte Cristo is like, you stare out into the storm and say, "Do your worst. You're a man now." So it's a great movie, by the way. The Count of Monte Cristo, highly recommended. But he's done a fairly good job. He's done some stinkers, but not really because of his performance. So again, an asset wherever you put him. And then when he became Superman, just completely blew up, and that's when he became a household name. So besides of all that stuff, I've looked into, like there's a bunch of rumors and stuff, but honestly, nothing really that's ever been bad. The dude he seems like a nice dude. He likes staying home, playing video games, and acting in movies and being good at it. So like I said, good guy all around, and a good actor too. And so there's been a lot of speculation of I would like to see him as the next 007, but I mean, I guess it's not really up to me, but I think it would be a role that's as iconic as Superman. It would be the British equivalent of Superman, because I think that's the biggest. Is James Bond the biggest British character out there, the most famous one? Maybe King Arthur, but I don't think it's on the same. Well, I guess contemporary, the biggest character to come out of Britain. I don't know. Let's just say I would like to see him as 007, because I think he'd do a good job. And I saw him also in what was it, Mission Impossible, and so it fits the role. Whatever, doesn't matter. So let's get it. So recently he did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter where he talked about the possibility of him coming back as Superman. I don't know why that happened. So it's interesting again that they're asking this question. There's usually a reason why these questions are asked, or these questions specifically are the ones that make news. Usually it's just, it's a headline that's going to get some clicks, and it works. But sometimes there's something in the water, and there's something particularly interesting with this particular topic, because it's not as crazy as I immediately thought it would be. So first off, Warner Brothers is a mess. WB is a mess. The DC Cinematic Universe is a mess. It looks like it's starting to get fixed. It looks like it might get fixed a little bit with the Flashpoint Paradox movie. It has potential, but it's currently a mess. We don't really know what's happening. The Batman movie, who knows if it's even a part of it. The Joker movie is definitely not a part of it. It's all weird. It's all crazy. Nobody really understands what the hell's happening. So they need to course correct. And one of the big issues why it looked like Henry Cavill was out of Superman is, one, his contract was done. And two, a lot of people didn't feel like the DCCU was being successful. People didn't like it. But then when the Justice League re-edit came out, the Snyder Cut, people were like, this is fantastic, this is great, why didn't it just go this direction at the beginning? So there's a lot of let's say fan desire to be there, and so fan desire for it to continue going. I'm one of those people. I really like The Man of Steel, I enjoyed it. It's probably my favorite Superman movie, just solo Superman. And that fight in Smallville is fantastic. I remember walking out of the movie theater after watching that movie, my jaw almost on the floor, because to me it was basically watching Dragon Ball Z in live action with capes. And I walked out of there, and I was listening to people's reactions, and I heard somebody say, "No, you know what? I think it had too much action." And I was like, "The fuck are you talking about? The biggest issue with Superman movies is that there's not enough action. What the hell are you talking about?" But all right. People have their own stupid opinions, I guess. I mean, I espouse mine every day. And so it's one of those things that I really liked. I really wanted to continue. And I knew that this was a different Superman, because that this is Superman that kills. So, by the way, I guess I should have said spoiler alert, but not really, because at the end of the movie, I mean, it came out like, over a decade ago. He actually kills Zod. And the thing that caught my attention about this particular interview is that this is something that he talks about. And it's something that it's been really bugging me of why they didn't explore it more. So here you go. This is Henry Cavill talking about Superman and the opportunity of a future Superman project to dig into the character's psyche and show people who he really is, warts and all. So here you go. This is a quote from Henry Cavill. Should I do the British accent? I don't. How do you do British? I forget. Hello, lads. Tea and crumpets. Yeah, right. There's a lot of storytelling for me to do Superman. I can't do it. I think I'm gonna go too ghetto with it. There's a lot of he's like more like there's a lot of storytelling for me to do Superman. I would absolutely love the opportunity, he said. The killing a sword gave me a reason for the character to never kill again. Superman falling to the ground and screaming afterwards. I don't think that was originally in the script. But I wanted to show the pain he had. I did far more emotional takes than they didn't choose. Tears were happening. He just killed the last remaining member of his species. That's the choice he made in that moment, and he'll never do it again. There's an opportunity for growth after that to explore the psyche of Superman as a deep, seemingly invulnerable godlike being, but with a real feeling on the inside. As I always say, the cape is still in the closet. So, interesting stuff there. He's talking about the moment that I always thought that I've actually referenced it on this podcast. This is Superman that kills, which makes him a lot different. And it turns out that his reaction, it's probably one of the most memorable reactions in the movie. One of the most memorable moments in that movie is, after where he offsods, he's like, ah! And that wasn't on the script. So again, he kind of had a particular vision of the character, and he knew Superman. He knew that Superman doesn't kill. It's kind of one of his things. And so actually breaking that particular rule broke him in a way, and it actually led to a very important decision for the story of that character. Again, so he respects his craft, and he understands the characters that he plays, and he takes them seriously. That's all good things. And it leads to a moment, very interesting moment for the character, because first off, you got a Superman that's broken one of his key rule, maybe the thing that bonds him with Batman, because Batman also has the no kill rule, even though in Batman v Superman, I'm pretty sure he killed a few fuckers, but whatever. Let's assume he didn't. Those car crashes that blew up, they were fine, or it was not directly murder or whatever. So he already broke that particular rule, and then afterwards he died, which I mentioned one of the most interesting moments in this in the Superman history that they cut out of the Justice League was asking the question of what's death like. And so it's not only a guy who's killed, he's a guy who's been dead. So the repercussions, the consequences of this particular Superman would be phenomenal. The directions you could take for this particular character are great. And so I would love to see it. Personally, I would love to see the direction that they could take it. If Zack Snyder continued with his particular idea of this particular Superman, would be great, because I've liked what he's done, and I think it's an excellent opportunity to explore the character in a way that he hasn't really been explored before, as more of a human being with flaws who actually fears death. He might be godlike, but he's been dead. He knows he can get it and come back, but I'm guessing that's kind of cheating. And also that he's experienced that type of loss, that he has the fear of the power of his hands, because he knows that he could actually take a life, and it's in him. So he has to restrain himself, even though it leads to a moral conundrum. So it's an interesting character to explore. Why is it being mentioned now? I think okay. So that question was immediately followed up by if he thinks that if he will be taken a part of any character in the MCU. So if it doesn't work out for him to return as Superman, Cavill said that he would love to be considered for a role in an MCU film. Maybe he could play Captain Britain, he suggested. So here you go. I'm never going to say a Marvel character that's played by someone else. I'm going Australian. Goddamn. I'm never going to say a Marvel character that's being already played by someone else, because everyone's doing an amazing job. However, I have the internet, and I've seen the various rumors about Captain Britain, and that would be loads of fun to do a cool modernized version of that, like they did modernize Captain America. There's something fun about that, and I do love being British. So here's where the fun stuff comes in. For those of you who don't know, Captain Britain is basically his powers are magic. And he's basically an interdimensional guardian. He has powers from Merlin, and it's interdimensional powers because apparently there's different dimensions, and there's every dimension. Let's say that the place where they connect, it's in Britain, and so every dimension has a guardian, and the guardian of this particular version of Marvel is Captain Britain, and so he has a bunch of magical powers, whatever, and all that stuff. And there's a few implications here that are interesting, because Captain Britain, first off, has a very close relations. Well, not really close relations, but his story is intertwined at moments with that of the Black Knight. And Black Knight was just, and I mean just, introduced in the Eternals with played by Kit Harington, even though he's still hasn't technically taken up the mantle of the character. So there's interesting implications there. Then there's also so it would be interesting for him to play it, and it's kind of in a way set up in a way for him to do it. Now there's rumors for other characters, and everybody and their mother wants him to play something. I agree with you, Gus. I think he should play a villain, just because you want to separate. You already have him play the most iconic hero maybe of all time, the most iconic superhero, Superman. And so do you really want to set him up in a way that he would resemble Superman closely, or do you want to just set him up as this invincible godlike villain? I would go to the villain route, or just make him completely human, or one of the low tier heroes, just so that he's completely differentiated for Superman, because you don't want to see Henry Cavill on screen and be like, oh yeah, Superman in the MCU. That's something you really don't want to do. So nothing with a cape, nothing with, I know there's rumors of Hyperion, and Hyperion could be interesting in a way, but again, you don't want him to be like a godlike character with a cape. You don't want him to do, well, who else was it? Who else we're thinking about? The Sentry, again, godlike character with a cape. You want to avoid all that stuff. But Hyperion has potential because he's, let's say, related to the Eternals in a way. Again, the Eternals have already been set up, so there's possibilities here. So why these questions? Why now? Why are they making news? And I think, in a way, either Henry Cavill's people are setting it up, but I think it all has to do with, let's say, negotiations. If I'm Henry Cavill, and I honestly think he wants to do Superman. I really think he wants to continue doing Superman, because I don't think he likes that he left something unfinished, and that, let's say, the reviews were not great, even though his performance was good. And so I think he has a bad taste in his mouth. He wants to be remembered maybe probably as the greatest Superman, right? Or he knows that nothing that he does in the MCU will compare to Superman. So, or he just loves Superman. I think my gut tells me he wants to do Superman. And so he's in a point where last year there were rumors that they were negotiating Superman again. And so I think this is all just a negotiation tactic, to be honest. It's one of those things that the MCU is floundering to see who the next face of the MCU is going to be. It looks like it's going to be Doctor Strange in many ways, but because it can't be Spider-Man. Everybody wants it to be Spider-Man. I want to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man, I've always described them as the crown jewel of the Marvel universe, but it can't be Spider-Man because they don't own the rights to Spider-Man completely. They depend on Sony, and Sony has them by the balls. So unless they get the rights to Spider-Man back, they can't put all their eggs in that particular basket, because Sony will bleed them out if they know that they have the power to do it. Or at least if I worked for Sony, that's what I would do. I would bleed the fuck out of them. So it can't be Spider-Man. The Hulk has barely been used for the last few movies. Thor, they're switching him for a female Thor. For reasons I don't know. The Guardians of the Galaxy are a group thing. They're fantastic, but are they going to be the face? That they've lost the two big heads of the MCU? Well, three technically, because Black Widow's out of there, or at least she's let's say not breathing. Steve Rogers retired and kind of broke the rules that they set up in the movie, so whatever. And Tony Stark is dead. So it's a lot of those things where you're like, who do they have? So they're floundering for something. I think they want to go the Doctor Strange route. I don't think Doctor Strange is the guy. I don't think it. I don't see it. Ant-Man, I don't see him as the guy. Again, the linchpin, the guy that brings everybody together. Let's say the heart of this group. And the reason why I don't think it's Doctor Strange is because Doctor Strange is more mental than anything else. They need somebody to be the heart of it all. I don't think they have it. It could be Spider-Man, but Spider-Man right now, he's been used kind of like a more, not as a jobber, but it's like comic relief. And the guy that everybody likes, they can use to make other characters more likable. But they haven't used him as the glue that brings everybody together, the heart. They don't have the heart. And so Marvel, I think they're very desperately looking out there to see who can we bring in. And so I think Henry Cavill had this particular interview in mind and used these particular questions specifically to be like, hey, well, I want to do Superman again, and I'm going to push him. So I'm going to push him in DC to be like, hey, I want to do it. I'm signaling to you guys. I want to do it. The fans want me to do it, and I think there's something we could do with this role. But also at the same time, I'm telling Marvel, like, hey, I could do this guy, and this guy specifically, who is kind of already tied into your Eternals movie, which looks like it's kind of direction that you want to go. So it's somebody that could be used. It's somebody who's not Superman, who looks. He has the same color scheme because again it's the red and blue, but he's British, and so he's going it's in a different direction, and he could fulfill certain roles that they're missing. So I'm torn as to whether it's a negotiating tactic from Cavill to either push DC or signal to Marvel that, hey, I'm open for business and this could be something that you might be considering, or it's something that one of the studios is pushing. I'm not exactly sure which one to see if there's let's say a particular fan desire for it. I don't know. Again, this is all speculation on my behalf, based on what I kind of understand about that particular side of the industry. But it would be fun. Honestly, I think Cavill returning as Superman would be way more fun, way more interesting than anything he'd do on the MCU, except maybe a villain. In fact, if I were him, I'd do both. I'd do Superman and then I'd return as a villain. But then the question is, what villain could he do? Because it sounds like he kind of wants to do a British villain, but because I get Superman is American. In fact, there's a line in Man of Steel where it's like, are you kidding me? I'm from Kansas. How much more American can I get? So I think he wants to play somebody who's British. Honestly, he should be James Bond. Gus, I'm sorry. He could just do Les Royds to do Superman. It's a thing he could do. And honestly, he would probably do it because he's one of those crazy people who changes his body for the role. He's kind of like Christian Bale in that way. And no, Christian Bale, I don't think he'd do a great Superman. I'm sorry, he wouldn't do a great 007. Great actor. I don't see him because 007 is similar in some ways to Bruce Wayne, and I didn't particularly love his Bruce Wayne. I think he was very vanilla, but whatever. The billionaire playboy philanthropist part wasn't as on the money, but who knows? And so what villain could he do? I don't think he wants. It'd be fun to see him, I don't know, do Doctor Doom or whatever. Or he could have been Adam Warlock, but it looks like that character's already been cast. But Doctor Doom also is not American, and the two times he's already been portrayed by somebody, and they were terrible. Who else do you got? It'd be fun to see him as Kraven the Hunter, because I recently, like a few years ago, I read a Spider-Man storyline, the Kraven's Last Hunt, and it's phenomenal. So a storyline of that would be fantastic, and where he's actually kind of like the guy, but I don't see it happening. And again, you're dealing with the issues of Sony owns all this stuff, so I'm not gonna hire Henry Cavill to be a character that's owned by Sony. It's stupid. So who would it be? Who would Henry Cavill be? There's a bunch of X-Men out there. I think he could do a pretty decent Cyclops, even though I hate Cyclops. Maybe a Colossus. That Colossus would be cool. But again, a British. The issues that he's signaling somebody British. And I think the reason why he signaled Captain Britain is because he kind of looks like Captain America in many ways. So it's like, hey, you're looking for your new Captain America. How about new Captain Britain? Again, I think it's all a negotiation tactic, and I think it's going to lead somewhere. It's all speculation, but who knows? Speculation is fun, so who cares? I think it's a good place to stop. I think, yeah. Oh, that's a good place to stop. I could speculate more on other possibilities or who I would like them to see as, but I want to keep him as Superman. He's done a good job. And for those of you who are wondering, The Witcher returns December 17th, season 2. I'm very much looking forward to it. I will be doing a review for it. I probably won't do how I did last time, a review of each episode, because it was not fun, because the whole season's come out at once. So I recommend you watch it quick, because I'm probably gonna just binge it as soon as I can. So as always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Super Dario World on YouTube and on Twitch at 10 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you want to send any comments, any questions, all that stuff, you can do it live right there on the chat. It's the easiest way for you to contact me. You can also follow me on Instagram at Super Dario World and at Dario SDW. As always, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again.